All right, we are back and we are talking about Football Friday night, and here is a familiar face once again. For those of you who watched TV 9 years ago,
yep.
Jimmy was a small child. This is Jimmy Treacy, and Jimmy is back. He is returning to the WSAZ Sports department and going to be out in the action once again on Football Friday night all around the region. Tonight, what game are you going to tonight?
Beckley versus Cabell Midland, so that should be easy to get to.
Yeah, definitely. It should be a little easier to get to.
All this week I've been introducing myself to the new people as the new old guy.
Has it changed that much?
Yes. You know, you look at how we edit things. The technology is probably the only thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, great story is a great story no matter what you do. Just how you put it on the air is, but I should learn it pretty quickly, I hope.
I think you've adjusted just fine. I went back there today, and Jimmy had no problem with the editing. I said, look at that, he's an old pro. He picked it up in no time at all. Now, the fact that you're back and people can have a chance to see you and meet you and talk to you, that's part of the story. But the other part of the story is the stories themselves, and that's what you love to do. When you did this job, the thing that you like to do more than anything is to go out and find these people, find interesting people, and find interesting stories and bring them to people. I bet you that's probably the thing you miss the most.
Yeah, that's the looking through an old tape from earlier today. Yeah. I'd see a story I did maybe 11 years ago, and I can now remember the person's name, the situation, and I think those are the stories that people remember too. Something that kind of they can connect to and remember as well.
Yeah, and those are the best memories of this kind of job, is the fact that you can go out there and meet people. And I did the same thing that Jimmy did. I got out of the business for a while, and I really felt that pull to get back into TV, because you do miss that. You miss that going out and meeting people and hearing all these different stories, and then not only just hearing different stories, but having the chance to then bring those stories to all the viewers out there.
Yeah, a lot of times sports, obviously scores and highlights and stuff, but sports can also be lessons you learn, things people take from it.
Yeah.
So the weekends are going to be great, but during the week we'll try to hit those stories that I used to do that I think we might take a look at in a minute.
Jimmy's going to be anchoring the stories on anchoring the news, the sports on Saturdays and Sundays on the weekend, and also several times throughout the weekend, of course, working right alongside with Keith, his old buddy Keith. So we're going to take a look back right now at some of Jimmy's greatest hits.
Greatest.
We'll call it that.
Well, 8 years later, the two have amassed a golf ball collection that easily reaches into the thousands.
But they were there and he could smell them.
This all started when the dog would find a wayward shot or two from his owner. Now getting a handful of Titleists, Max Flies, and Nikes are just par for the course.
Tim, that's a dog you need to have.
I know, wouldn't that be great? Yeah, that would be. Find the golf balls.
This was back in I think '07 when Marshall did the walk. But Coach Snyder had them, as you can tell, dressed to the nines.
Yeah. And see, the thing when I look back on these stories, the other thing I noticed, and I can't help but notice this because I noticed
that's
it
when
about
mixed martial arts was.
It wasn't quite the MMA that it is now.
No, that's when it was his infancy, and this guy. That was a story I remember from back then as well.
You didn't get in the ring with him, did you?
Not a chance.
Okay, that's good.
Wouldn't take long.
Jimmy, if you did get in the ring, you might last a little bit longer than you do now, because what has happened to Jimmy is what has happened to a lot of us, and Jimmy's gone a little gray. Because you noticed in that story he had very dark hair, and now it's more like that guy right there.
Story about that guy was, and I remembered it too when I saw it earlier today. He says his best line was, I think it was 83 when I started, not 83. He said I was 83. So
all right. This one's going to make me feel old, because our daughter was a swimmer on probably that team that you did the story on, and it was
probably there.
Long. Yeah, we were probably both there, and she was just a little kid. Now she's 24 years old. And Jimmy's just a couple years older than that now.
Just a smidge.
It's great to have you back.
Well, thank you. It's glad to be back, and I'm looking forward to go out and meeting new people, and of course the same people that they'd always tell me, you still at Channel 3?
Yeah.
It's like, no, but
he never really went away.
No.
Jimmy always kept in touch with us and has been our friend ever since he left, and continues that way. Running his own business, Pump Up the Fun in Barboursville. There's a little plug for you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You know, and we're just so happy to have you back, because you never really left, like I said, part of the family.
Well, you know, when I call 3 or 4 times a week, I probably didn't.
He was not on the do not answer list, I promise you.
I'm glad to hear that.
That's only for criminal behavior, and Jimmy never did that. So it's great to have you back. Football Friday night, baptism by fire, right back into it.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Jimmy. We'll be right back.
Yep.